2017 is a big year for Canadians as it marks our nation's 150th birthday. And what better way to celebrate than to enjoy the natural beauty that our vast nation has to offer. As such, Parks Canada has released the free Canada 150 Discovery Pass, which grants entrance to national parks, historic sites, and marine conservation areas coast to coast. For many Albertans, the Discovery Pass likely means more trips to enjoy Banff National Park. Banff business owners are understandably excited at the increased frequency of visitors 2017 will surely bring. However, there are some real concerns in the region with regards to traffic, parking, and the health of the park itself. Today we explore the plethora of activities on offer in the Banff region, the plan to handle the huge influx of visitors, and how you can get the most out of your Discovery Pass park experience. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Chorney. Tonight, well, as you probably could guess, we're talking about the Discovery Pass 2017 Canada 150. It's a big year for Banff and the Banff region, and as such tonight I'm joined by Nancy DaDalt from Banff and Lake Louise Tourism. Nancy, thanks so much for being here.
Great to be here. As
well as Greg Danchuk. You're from Parks Canada Banff Field Unit. Thanks,
Kevin, how you doing?
Thanks for making the hike in tonight.
Very good.
Appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Maybe I'll start with you, Greg. Tell
Sure.
me a bit about your role in Banff, all-encompassing Parks Canada. What's going on these days?
Well, my role personally, I'm the manager of visitor experience, which means almost anything to do with any of the visitors. Nearly 4 million visitors that visit Banff National Park every year.
4 million?
That's where we are this year. It'll be about a little over 4 million actually. So from, when you enter the park, the Banff East Gate and the people that work there, that's all part of my team. The visitor centers, the campgrounds, people that clean all the facilities and a variety of other things. So almost any kind of interaction with visitors.
Wow, so you're a busy guy.
Most days,
but
it's the greatest place that someone would want to work. And Banff National Park being the first national park of Canada and the icon of Canada, it's just a great honor to be part of that team.
Excellent. Perfect guest for our discussion today. Nancy, a little bit about yourself and your role with Banff and Lake Louise Tourism.
Well, I too have visitor experience under a little bit of a different umbrella, focusing on how do we ensure visitors come to Banff National Park, so Banff and Lake Louise, mostly focusing on the shoulder and the winter seasons. So we oversee the visitor centers, how we engage with our members or the businesses that are within Banff and Lake Louise, and then also events and other components that tie in with events.
Okay, so clearly you're pretty busy as well. Again, thanks to you both for taking
We've
the time.
had more conversation here than we've had.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're always running around.
we work together quite closely, actually, on a number of projects, but it's just hard to get enough time to talk on a regular basis.
Well, there you go. So it'll be a good opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
Nancy, maybe I'll start with you. Banff National Park is one of the world's 21 must-see places in 2017, according to National Geographic Traveler magazine, which is pretty high accolades, right? For those new to our city or new to the region, what is it that makes Banff just so unique and that must-see park to be at?
Wow, the list is so long.
Yeah, sure.
I have to say, personally, my preference is Banff National Park in the wintertime when Mother Nature coats it in that beautiful white fur of that nice fluffy white stuff. And you can go places that you can't go any other time. Walk on lakes, skate on lakes, ski or snowshoe. There's so many options. And it's a magical time because of the quietude and the snow blankets, everything just makes it that much more special, in my opinion.
The photographs speak for themselves.
The photographs speak for themselves. But the things to do, the places to see, the moments that you can capture, the sense of indelible awe that you experience being in nature and to have that connection with the place is what makes it one of the most must-see places in the world.
Same question, Greg. Obviously, you've got a bit of a different perspective. Tell me a little bit about not just the natural beauty, but everything behind it.
Well, what's really interesting about Banff National Park is also the Cave and Basin National Historic Site, which is really the birthplace of Canada's national parks, where it all started. And that is within the park. The cultural aspects of what are available, some of the stories that are at the Banff Park Museum, for instance, and the story of the discovery of the thermal waters. It's just a really cool way to connect with Canada, of what Canada is, both naturally and culturally. And Parks Canada, one of our goals or objectives is really to provide opportunities for Canadians and international guests to make that connection with these special places, both the nature that's there and the heritage that's
the rich
that's
history
in,
that's involved,
involved in all of it. Yeah.
So tell me about the Canada 150 Discovery Pass then. Beyond free entry into all of Canada's national parks, pardon me, what else is on offer with that pass?
Well, the Government of Canada, in celebration of the 150th anniversary of Canada's Confederation, has offered to all free entry to all the national parks, all the national historic sites, all the national marine conservation areas, and all the historic canals in Ontario and Quebec. And this offers the opportunity for people to enter the places at free of charge as a part of This is Canada, and this is celebrating the most special and unique places that Canada has to present. Things like camping and other programs are still, you still have to pay for those. Okay. Extra programming, camping would be the most obvious one that people would relate to. Those are still required to be there, but entry fee, completely free. We do encourage people, we really want people to come and get a pass. It's just because it's free, doesn't mean we want to talk to people, we want to have an opportunity to provide information to people. So we want people to come, stop at the gate if you don't already have a pass, get one there, come to the visitor center or any of our staff. And nationally, Parks Canada has already taken orders for almost over 3.2 million orders for the Discovery Pass nationally, and that's all across the country.
That's incredible.
So those are not all Canadians, and the vast majority are Canadians. And you'd be pleased to know that Alberta is very well represented in that group of millions of people. Yeah,
I think it's a great initiative. As a person who visits Banff maybe a few times a year, can't really justify the full annual park pass expenditure.
Yep.
This makes perfect sense for somebody like me, and I think a lot of families, similar to my family. Now that said, there is some people that are griping a little bit. I mean, the program itself has a price tag. It was budgeted for about, I think, $5.7 million for passes to be, obviously manufactured and mailed out.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you can enter the park without a pass. People are scratching their heads. What's the merit of having the pass to begin with if you can just enter the park without the pass and not pay the fee?
Well, it's actually a legal obligation to
get a pass
to enter a national park. It's the same with any national park in the country. In that way, when you obtain your pass, that provides you with all the services that are available to you there. All the money that's collected from park passes or at national historic sites, it's the same thing. All the money that's generated there stays in that park for the betterment of visitor facilities that are right there at that park. So the more you visit, the more there is to benefit from. So when you pay your park entry fee on a normal year, all those funds go to support the facilities, the washrooms, which is a really important piece of the whole visit. But roads to campgrounds, to every other facility that might be, the staff, the programming that's there, things to help with resource conservation as well, and keeping that place in the condition that it is in. And this year, the Government of Canada has been very, very supportive in that they're supporting us for the loss of that revenue and being able to support us so we can continue to operate as we would have had in the past. And one of the other most important parts of getting a pass is that's a great opportunity for a visitor to speak to a Parks Canada team member, either at the gate or the visitor center or in the campground, and be able to obtain information that'll make your visit just that much better than it already is.
It makes sense. It does make sense. Folks, we're going to jump to a quick break and check in with the Rant Pack. Stay with us.
Canada Parks, I think that's actually a great idea for them to be just releasing a bunch of free passes for members that are in the community, knowing that you're able to get these passes. Canadian Parks is probably the best place that I have been to. My parents, we got our passes, and we're going to be going down a lot more through this year. I'm kind of worried about the tourism that's coming all over, but I understand that tourism, it means money for the city, and then that's just more jobs and things for everybody.
Okay, Greg, so you'd mentioned that non-residents of Canada are also eligible for this free pass, is that correct?
They certainly are. Everyone is eligible around the world. We're inviting people Canadians and others, to celebrate Canada's 150th. And this is just a way of welcoming Canadians and others to the icons, the representative pieces of what make up Canada.
And you know what a better time than, especially right now, to show just how welcoming we are as a country. I think that's fantastic. It should also make it clear, if you hold a pass that you bought in 2016 in anticipation of 2017, that pass will be good until 2018 now, is that correct?
That's right. It's, any pass bought in 2016 is good to the same month that you bought it in 2018.
Awesome.
So that makes it a lot easier for people for coming and going as well. Excellent. But we'd still encourage people to come to a visitor center, talk to our staff as much as possible, get that kind of information. Our own staff, Nancy's team that's also in the visitor center or other places, and get as much information as they can from Parks Canada team members to make their visit just that much better.
Enrich it as much as you can. Nancy, over the past couple of years, the economic downturn in Alberta has obviously kicked a lot of our butts here. Calgary, Edmonton, Banff has kind of been this beacon. How is it that Banff has remained such a busy hotspot throughout, this kind of rough go that we've had here provincially lately?
Well, I guess you could say it was sort of perfect timing on all fronts, that our dollar weakened, so we have more visitors from the United States. We had some concerns with our own economy in Alberta, and so people wanted to stay closer to home. And over the last many years, in conjunction with Parks Canada and the town of Banff and other partners, Travel Alberta, Destination Canada, we've been working hard to bring more visitors from around the world. So everything just kind of culminated at the same time.
I see.
And we actually have been in a growth stage because of the decline that we saw from about 2002 till about 2012.
Pretty good stretch of time where things slowed down quite a bit.
It was quite quiet, in particular during that stretch. So I think, like any time, we have ups and downs in our economy, ups and downs in the world. And so it's just that perfect mesh of everything clicking at the same time, which has really supported the economy within Banff National Park, but I think it's also spilled out into other areas as well.
Clearly, yeah. Banff area and the businesses in there obviously must be stoked. You must be stoked for the Canada 150 Discovery Pass. I mean, are these setting up to be some of the busiest times, you think, that we've seen in Banff?
Well, what we're looking at in terms of visitation over the last few years has been a consistent climb of about 5% per year.
Per annum, wow, that's huge. And 4 million visitors last year, is that right?
That's where we'll be this year with 4 million people.
Holy.
And so,
that's great.
Of course, everyone is wanting to welcome the world to Banff and Lake Louise. And we also want to ensure that the visitor experience is the best that it can be. It's
a good one, yeah.
And when we had National Geographic visiting with us and doing their piece about Banff National Park, they felt that it was an incredible visitor experience, and that contributed to that level of recognition in terms of Banff National Park being an icon in the world. Yeah. And it's a great team that works together with Banff and Lake Louise Tourism, Parks Canada, the town of Banff, and the group in Lake Louise too, the hamlet of Lake Louise, where we all work together. That how do we ensure we have the best visitor experience so that people can go and tell their friends to come back.
Not an easy task, I wouldn't think. There's a lot of moving parts there.
There's lots of moving parts, but everybody loves the place.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, one of the most consistent components. We all feel very grateful that we can be there, that we can operate. We all love welcoming the world to where we live. Again, very grateful.
So you both live in the Banff region then, do you? Canmore area?
Yep, I live in Banff.
You do live right in Banff.
And I live in Banff as well.
So is there a real camaraderie and passion amongst citizens that share kind of the similar views, or is there some dissidence as well?
There's a good indication is the number of volunteers that we have that participate in different things. Thousands and thousands of hours of volunteer time, most of it from very local people.
Awesome.
I think that's one of the better indicators.
Yeah, that's a great indicator.
And people, the amount of use of the park that people, that locals do have, they're always on the trails, always running into people that you know or see from around the town. People that live there really enjoy the place and are proud to talk about it and tell other people about this great place that Canada has here.
A lot of resident ambassadors, it sounds like.
Well, we actually have an initiative that welcomes all the local, new locals that come into town, mostly the frontline staff that come through Banff National Park, to be ambassadors. And we have in 2016, we actually had 4,000 people go through it, talking about what does it mean to be an ambassador, what does it mean to live in a national park,
Sure.
what are your responsibilities as a resident.
And there is a few, I would think.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's a privilege, and we have a responsibility, and we all take that seriously. And you know, I'm a bit of a geek, maybe, that when I walk to work in the mornings, I love to be able to stop and talk to people to say, go and take a picture over here, or can I help you find something? And I know that that's part of our ambassador program that we work on together with Parks Canada. And it's also something that it's just super fun to meet people from around the world.
Sure. Literally around the world. Well, actually, I gotta be honest, you had me at walk to work. That sounds like kind of nice to begin with.
And in the summertime, I bike.
Not bad, not bad at all.
Yeah.
Folks, we're gonna jump to a quick break here. We'll be right back. Stay with us.